First of all, let me thank BLS Global for inviting me to make an address at the African Investment Immigration Virtual Summit. I am happy to be here as Minister for Foreign Affairs and Labor of Grenada. It's always a pleasure for me to speak to persons who are interested in Grenada, and particularly it's quite exciting for me now to be speaking at an African Investment Immigration Expo, because for us, Africa is an important continent, not only going forward, but certainly, as you're well aware, there's a long history between Grenada, the Caribbean, and Africa. I just want to say Grenada, as all you're well aware, is in the Caribbean. We have a very stable political environment, have a very stable judicial system, but I guess you've heard a lot of that. Economic development is quite stable. We have experienced growth of more than 5% over the last several years. Tourism is our largest contributor to that. And we also have agriculture and several other sectors, IT, etc. So I want to thank you for inviting me here today to speak about a country that I'm very passionate about. And certainly those of you who are interested in becoming citizens of Grenada, we welcome that. We do have a very open policy. We have a very stable environment. We have a very extremely stable social environment. Our crime rate is very low, one of the lowest in the Caribbean region. So for us, very peaceful environment. We welcome persons who are not only willing to invest, because certainly that's what we are talking about, investment, but certainly if you want to come live in Grenada, we are just 3 hours away from Miami, 4 hours away from New York. We have direct flights from London, direct flights from Germany. We can get here quite easily. What we need, though, is more direct flights out of Africa. Africa, for us, is an important destination. In fact, unfortunately, the historical connection between Africa and the Caribbean and Africa and Grenada has not translated into the kind of economic and trade relationship that I think there's potential for. But there's been a push in recent times. Over the last 5-8 years, many of the CARICOM countries have been pushing our relationship with the African continent. Barbados, our CARICOM neighbor, and the chairman of CARICOM, Mia Motley, had invited the president of Kenya to Barbados just under a year ago, where there were relations between the foreign ministers and the prime ministers of the region. We've had visits from several African leaders from Nigeria. Several African leaders have visited the Caribbean in recent years, and that is so that we can correct the historic disconnect between the Caribbean and Africa, despite the fact that we have such close historic ties. And as I said when I started, the lack of air transportation between Africa and the Caribbean is one such disconnect, but one that we hope we can improve in the upcoming years. In addition to that, I have visited several African countries in the last year, and I had planned several other visits over the next couple of months before COVID-19 stepped in. Just let me say at the outset also that I wish everybody well in the face of the pandemic. Grenada has done extremely well. We are COVID-free at the moment, and we hope to remain COVID-free, and I hope many of you are doing well in your own countries. But so yes, we have established a CARICOM office in Nairobi, Kenya. We have established, and we are seeking to establish honorary consulates and consulates throughout Africa. So on a diplomatic front, we are trying to deepen the connection. So we are seeking honorary consuls, we are seeking consulates, we are seeking embassies, and we've started that by the establishment of some diplomatic outposts in several parts of Africa. In addition to that, we are looking forward to establishing trade missions and to sending trade missions to Africa, and Africa sending trade missions to the Caribbean. There are many opportunities in the Caribbean. There's opportunities in tourism. Grenada is primarily a tourism destination. We have several major hotels on stream. We have hotels, new hotels like Six Senses Hotel, which is about to begin construction, and other hotels that have started, and we have hotels that have been here for many years. So Grenada is an excellent destination, but we need to get more room stock. And so investment in tourism products and tourism and hotels is something that we are very eager to have, and the government has an excellent incentive package to encourage that. There's also investments possible in IT and alternative energy. Right now, the energy costs are too high for us, and we have therefore been out there seeking to get investors to come in to look at alternative energy. We have quite a bit of potential with solar, and some persons are interested in that, and therefore we are seeking to get as many investors as possible in those areas. So the country is open to that. In education, we are also seeking investments. Grenada has St. George's University. St. George's University is one of the premier medical institutions this part of the world. In fact, 1% of medical doctors in the United States are trained in Grenada. And I know there are, that's a surprising number for a small country of 100,000 people to have 1% of the doctors in the US trained here, but that is a fact. And in fact, many African students from all over Africa are resident. In fact, there's an African Students Union at St. George's University, and there's openings for investments in other education sectors. The university we have is currently really focused on medical sciences, medicine, but there's an attempt to get more investment in IT. In addition to that, the IT services, not only for Grenada. And the thing is, when you invest in Grenada, you have access to 15 CARICOM countries, you have access to the US market. So there's a whole lot of benefit to be got from investing in Grenada. And many of you, by the end of this webinar, would be aware of the benefits of E2. Grenada being an E2 country, having signed an E2 treaty with the United States in 1983, that E2 treaty allows you access to do business in the US. And in fact, that treaty arrangement is very stable. Our relationship with the United States is quite stable. And therefore, there is no problem with the E2 treaty. And I know that there are several persons who have benefited from the E2 treaty that we do have with the US. In addition to that, as I was speaking about treaties, we are also seeking to get visa-free access to many African countries. In fact, I have had discussions with several of them over the last several months. I visited South Africa, I visited Kenya, I visited Northern African countries, so Uganda. So we do have discussions on the way. I expect to visit Ghana and several other countries, Nigeria, in the upcoming months. We are seeking to have visa-free access, and that will do two things. It will give holders of Grenada passport the ability to move freely, as we currently do, to over 140 countries, including Russia, China, Schengen, the United Kingdom. It will give them similar visa-free travel to African countries. So I'm currently having discussions with several African partners in that respect for visa-free travel, but it also allows the development of people-to-people relationships, which is something we are seeking eagerly, because once you get people-to-people relationship, investments and everything else will follow. And our discussions with the African leadership leads us to a positive conclusion, because we see Africa as it's the biggest potential. It has the biggest potential for us. There's absolutely no doubt about that Africa has the potential to develop, to help us in our own developmental process. We do have similar challenges, but Africa for us is far advanced, and therefore, as Africa grows and as Africa develops, and the international partnership and investment will be key to the potential, to unleashing the potential for the future. So we are seeking that partnership with our African friends in that regard. So I want to say that we want to be investment partners, not only with Africa as nation states, but with the people of Africa, because that is what we believe will be the basis for our growth. And we want to encourage persons in Africa to look at Grenada, not only through CBI, but if you become a citizen, you visit Grenada, and there are ways in which you can seek investment, as I indicated earlier. We have a very attractive investment package. We depend to a large extent on foreign direct investment. As Minister for Foreign Affairs, I do engage quite a bit of my time with seeking foreign direct investment. And Africa for us is a place where it's going to make a difference for us. And therefore, my team, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs team, the Ministry of International Business, we provide direct support and advice to African businesses to help them to invest in Grenada. So we want you to look at Grenada. We want you to visit Grenada. And when you visit Grenada, you can visit the entire CARICOM area and you can see what the potential and the platform that Grenada will give you to work with 15 different nation states in the region and to have access to places like North America, to South America, to Latin America, to Central America through using Grenada as a platform. And becoming a Grenadian citizen is a very good way of doing that. It's an excellent way. Our CBI program is one of the best. You will hear from the other speakers about our CBI program. One of the best. I love to call it the Ferrari of the CBI programs. It's not only properly priced, but it also gives you the benefits, the E2, the visa-free travel, and the integrity of the passport itself will provide you with much benefits that will help you to invest in Grenada, will help you in your own investment dreams in this rapidly changing world that we have in front of us. We know COVID has caused some changes, but we expect that while COVID provides some challenges, it provides some opportunities. So I'm sure in this environment, our government, the government of Grenada, will be even more eager to give more concessions and to do more to attract and to give more assistance to attract investment from the African continent. As you're well aware, I am passionate about establishing these relations and deepening these relations with the African continent. We see the continent as a bright star for us. We believe that our historic ties must be translated into current trade, investment, and people-to-people ties. And through that, I am sure that many of you listening now will get benefits from those investments, but also it would lead to benefits for Grenada, benefits for the region, and certainly lead to a better and deeper relationship between the CARICOM, between Grenada and the African continent. I thank you for inviting me. I want to reiterate my deep gratitude to BLS Global for having me here. I'm always very excited about engaging with Africa. I hope after COVID gives us the ability, it is lifted and COVID gives me the ability to visit Africa. I hope I'll meet many of you. I'm certainly easy to contact. I'm Minister for Foreign Affairs of Grenada. I'm easily contacted, but certainly I look forward to visiting Africa, to visiting your countries so that we can deepen these relations to advance the interests of both our countries and both our peoples. I thank you, and I thank you, BLS, for having me at this Immigration Virtual Expo, focusing on our sister countries in Africa. I thank you.